Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the links in the description of the video and in my bio section of the social media account. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already and like the video. Now, before I get into the tickers, which it's only a few because this week is going to be like the last 2 weeks. It's going to be very headline driven, so we're going to have to play it day by day on this. So I mean, things could bounce, then one headline comes out and everything could end up just taking a crap. So it's been short the pops the last few weeks, except Thursday and Friday was very strong. So we'll have to see if the market continues or if it does end up falling, making more lows. But something to keep a note on Wednesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Let me check. Wednesday, 10 a.m. Fed, Powell, and Thursday. They're both 10 a.m. Wednesday and Thursday. Powell's going to testify. So make a note of that. He's going to end up probably saying something about tapering or the rates or something like that. That will end up spooking the market. So, but you know, everyone's anticipating that it's going to spook the market. He's going to talk about rates, increase rates. But you know, with this Russia-Ukraine thing going on, the market freaking out, he may just like say, okay, I'm going to wait until June or later on this year to do anything because of the uncertainty with the crisis going on with Russia. So that could be something that could come into play. So I don't even think he's going to raise rates in March, but that's just my opinion. But all it takes is for him to mention something and the market could freak out or pop. So you just got to make a mental note of those two time frames now. With that said, let's see. Just trying to make sure that I have everything up and working. Okay, I get Roku up. Well, actually, you know what? I'll start with SPY. SPY, you know, this is where they invaded right here. Russia invaded Ukraine, and it just went crazy. Now you get the 200, the 20 EMA, which is this white line on the daily. It could reject on that. It usually does. But this is also the third time it's touched it because it's touched it here. Actually, 4, 5, 6 times it's touched it. It's reacted all 6 times. So we'll have to see what happens and how the futures open up tonight and how it opens up tomorrow. But that's going to basically be it's going to be all about the headlines. You know, if the headlines drop overnight, the SPY could end up coming back down below 430. So it's going to be hard to predict, you know, which way it's going to go because it's all going to be headline driven. It's had just a crazy move though, 410 to 437, 438. So if it does manage to get over this, I mean, it's got room to 440. Then you get the 445 area, 444, 445. Then you get the 450. It's going to be a big area. Then you get the 457 area, which is going to be a big area. So watch that. I don't know. I mean, every time you think that SPY won't do something, it does completely the opposite of what you anticipate. I am curious about one thing now. I'm going to look at the let's see, the put to call ratio. I don't think I've looked at it all weekend long. I'm curious to see what it looks like right now after all the heavy call buying. It's mid-range. It's not an extreme range. So yeah, but yeah, I'd watch it over, you know, 438, 440 to 450, but I'd watch underneath 434. I mean, SPY could gap down quite a bit. I mean, I looked at the let's see, weekend Wall Street. I usually look at that, especially on things like that. Right now, it says it's down 400 points, 388 points. So who knows where SPY will open up or ES will open up futures today at 6. So we'll just have to see. And that's why you need to be in the room because I could be playing out this watch list right here and the gap downs and gap ups are so big that it's just going to avoid everything out. And that's why you need to be in the room to see the day to day. Because when you have volatility and things happening in the world like it is, that you could have 100-point gap up and gap downs with futures easily, and that just changes the whole dynamics of the play. So that's why you need to be in the room to get that. So with that said, I did cover SPY. I mean, it's like I said, it's gonna be headline driven. So it's gonna be next to impossible to predict which way it's gonna go, and the headline's gonna change everything. So I'll be watching all these tickers, both directions. Even though I'm primarily watching a lot of these for bounces, but I will be watching them for both directions. Now, Roku, it's almost filled the gap from earnings. It's got like a little more to go, 140, 143, 144. Then it fills the gap. So the 20 EMA is right there at the 150. So let's get the gap resistance. Well, actually, gap resistance down here, but fill the gap resistance right here. Then you get the 20 EMA. It's probably going to end up rejecting, but could reject a little bit, come back down, and then pop, depending on what the market does. Now, Roku is one of those stocks that does not care what the market's doing. The market was dumping right here, and it did not care. So Roku could just go against the market. So keep an eye on Roku. Yeah, I'm actually watching Roku for a bounce, probably to 150 to even 160. So I'd watch it over Friday's highs of 141 to, you get this 145 area. That's going to be really big. If it gets over that, you get 150, 160. So on Roku. Now Shopify, I still have, still watching. It's just crazy. It bounced right here at the right at 600 level, 598, and it bounced. So you can watch it over 688 for a push to 700. 750, and gap resistance right here at the 800 area. So Shop be a good one to watch. PayPal actually had a nice little bounce right off the 100 level. Went to about 94, then it started to reject a little bit at 100, then it popped. I would watch it over Friday's highs of 111 for a push to 115, 120. 125 right here. We get that 123, 124 level right there, 125. Then you get 130, and you get gap resistance right here, 140. So the weekly on PayPal is still below 20, the RSI. So definitely keep an eye on that. It's usually when you get the RSI that low right here, it just has a monster rally. But if more bad news comes with Russia and Ukraine or China or whatever, that the PayPal could end up going lower. So just keep that in mind. Disney, it did have a little bit of a bounce. It did reject off the weekly 20 EMA and it came back down, but I'd watch it over 150 for a push to 153, 155. Then you get the 157 level right there. If it does get over this area right here of the 157, 158, this 160 area is another area to look. It does get over that. It's got open skies to one like gap resistance right here from earnings is 165. Then you get 170. So I mean, it's got areas to run if it can get some momentum behind it over the 150 level. So Facebook had a nice little bounce too. Right under 200. I mean, it went right under 200. Went to 190, and then it went to over 200. So yeah, I mean, I kind of thought it would bounce over 200. I didn't take it because I was worried that SPY was going to dump more, and if SPY does dump, Facebook's going to end up going with it most of the time. But yeah, I did have a strong bounce, so I would watch it over the what does this say, area right here? 209, 211 area. I'd watch it over 211 for push to 220, 225 right here. And you get the 230, 235. Basically every $5. And you get gap resistance right here at 240, 245. So SPY's got room to go to 240, but not SPY. I mean, Facebook's got room to run to 240. I can't talk right. But that will all be dependent on what SPY does. So Microsoft is another one. Microsoft had a nice little rebound. I mean, right under, you see, it's been holding the 300 area for a long time, and it just finally dipped under it. Then it went down to the 280 area right here, went under 280, got quickly rebounded right here, did the same thing. So this is going to be another one that's going to be heavily dependent on SPY, and it went right up to the 20 EMA right here, and we'll have to see if it rejects that. So like I said, I'll be watching these for both sides, short and long. But if it does manage to get over the 297, probably going to go to 300. It gets over 300, which was the sweet spot for a long time. Anytime I went under 300 in this little area right here, it just bounced. But because of the Russia-Ukraine situation, it dumped right here. But over 300, it's got room to 305, 310, 315. What is this? Costco's another one. Costco's one that can go against the market. It can have a really strong day. I mean, I do like the way it's starting to look right here. It gets over this, let's see, over 318, 519 area, 520. It's got room to run to 530, even 540. Costco could not care about what's going on. It's gone against the market so many times. When you see the market red and Costco red, you know it's pretty bad, because Costco is one of those stocks that just does not care about what the market's doing. So, and it did look at the weekly. The weekly, it bounced right off the RCT trend line here and here, and it doesn't usually like to go below it in a long time. It did right here. This was this 20? No, this wasn't the COVID crash. COVID crash was down over here. But yeah, it doesn't usually like to stay underneath the RCT trend line that long. So, but it did bounce right here, so I like seeing that. I think that if it can manage to get over the 520, it could have a nice run to 530, 540. So Costco's always one that's fun to watch and fun to play if you can catch it. Netflix is one I'll be watching too. Get a double bottom right here on the weekly. I started to see that. I just didn't take it. I didn't have any conviction to take any longs at all on Thursday or Friday because of the invasion. So I'm just going to try to keep a more of an open mind, and hopefully if I do grab any calls, that I'm going to be in and out really, really fast in case the headline, all it takes is one headline and you'll get crushed if you're in calls. So that's something you have to keep an eye on. So I'd watch Netflix over, let's see, look at the 392 for a push to 400, and it gets over 400, you get the 410. And if it gets over 410, it will have a hard time getting over 410, but if it does get over 410, you get the 420, 430, 440, basically every $10. Now, when Netflix gets strength behind it, it can make some really big moves, like this candle right here. It went from 354 to 390. So, I mean, you made almost a $50 move right there. I mean, right here, pretty much a $40 move. It can make $40 moves relatively easy on Netflix if it gets any momentum behind it. But the options on a Monday or a Tuesday on Netflix are just so expensive. So I probably won't touch it if it does make a move on Monday or Tuesday. So, yeah, that's going to do it. I mean, like I've been saying, you got to be in the room. The day-to-day, the overnight, one headline is going to change the whole dynamic of the market, change the whole dynamic of if it's going to pop or drop. So you just got to be in the room. So that's going to do it for the watch list, and thank you for watching.